Thank you so much. We're going to quickly go over to Caroline, who's going to. You've got a fantastic opportunity here, Caroline.
Oh, is this me now? Then
it is you. This is
right. Okay.
The fantastic.
Can you all see me?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. In which case, at the moment, I can only see you, Ty. It's been so inspiring to see everybody have a good chat about exactly what makes this particular guide brilliant and how much contribution has gone to it. So I've enjoyed it. I've been happily typing away, answering questions on the back. I had a few questions that I'd picked from the plethora of questions that we got asked, and I just wanted to go through a few of them very quickly, because obviously we've not got hordes of time here, but because I'm that kind of teacher, I did write up a thorough answer that I'll pass on to Ian, that he can put up somewhere for each one. One of them was about supporting students who don't have access. So if you're trying to do this thing where you're trying to support students who don't have access, it's been one of those kind of big words at the moment. You know, how do we support those students who don't have the access to internet? And there is a lot of them we covered in our report on the Education Foundation on protecting learning. And I wanted to make a distinction between there's no tech and low tech students. So there's no tech whatsoever for some students, and some of the better ways to support them, if I put my list here, things like calling regularly and making sure that they could use paper resources packs. I'm sure you all know, but things like the BBC Red Button service for lessons, radio like Learning Radio Live is a great option for them. Making sure that they have textbooks, have craft kits, and also just dropping in if you can get a socially distanced visit and just making them feel welcome. I mean, we're doing all of these. And then there's low tech. You might have a student that doesn't necessarily have full internet access, but maybe has a device that's shared amongst people in the house. Now, I think we really need to think carefully as we're going forward about how to support a low tech family. I would prefer that every student had digital devices, but if we've got low tech, how do we support them? Well, there's some low-tech options. You know, if they've got phone access, have you considered using text? If you've got chat, emails are much lower on the data than you can for a full live lesson. Putting our options into things like plain text, which is more low on your data. Getting students top up. You know, you can get students top up cards to top up their data if they're using their phones, if they're getting through that data. And also things like text to speech. We do video kind of lessons, or you're doing live lessons. You can convert that from text to speech into a transcript and then send those transcripts out for extra support for your students. So that was that first one. I had a little bit on measuring success from Tracy Atkinson from the University of Scrancliffe, and solid foundations in TLE, and a little bit about how we bridge the gap. Measuring success. Oh, it's quite hard to measure success on learning. At the moment, there's some data that is out there from Teacher Tap that we're saying at the moment we've got, the average amount that we think our Year 8s are doing is about 3 to 6 hours if they're in a fee-paying school, or about 1 to 2 hours if they think they're in a deprived. A lot of schools are measuring it on engagement rates or remote learning tests or AFL. I think we do have a lot to learn going forward from people who are excellent at this, like the OU. And obviously, whether we can judge the competence and quality of education, some of the work that's come out of the Education Endowment Foundation on what type of lessons we do, asynchronous or synchronous, and how that works. Solid grounding in technology-enhanced learning. Yet again, I think that comes down to some lessons we can learn. The EdTech Demonstrator Program, a few people have spoken about it before, is absolutely crucial in this. We do need that kind of support in our classrooms, and we need that throughout the country, along with some of the incredible things that I've seen coming forward from that program, along with the London Grid for Learning. They've been brilliant in those kind of solid foundations, but we do need a lot more, and we do need evidence. I think HE for you has a better grasp sometimes than schools do. Hearts Academy Trust asked about roadblocks. What kind of roadblocks have we got at the moment? I think there's mass underinvestment. And I think we've got a big issue on this. Obviously, we've covered it before in the kind of digital divide, that we've got a lot of students out there at the moment that don't have access to devices. And I think if you think about putting a device in every child's hand, you're talking about 11.7 million children, and you know, a £200 a laptop, it works out at 2,340,000,000. So I think there's certain things we could do to broaden our scope. I don't think I'm going to see right away this sudden mass investment, but I think we should aim to have those kinds of programs that do support disadvantaged children. Disadvantaged children must have access to digital devices. We should have a national platform like Glow or like Hub that we've got in England, Scotland and Wales. We should have an updated strategy, and we've not yet. I think we do need these things, and I think we probably need to look outside of our comfort zone. I'm quite well known in education for doing makerspaces and digital, but I'm actually very well known in libraries for doing outreach among national libraries. So those could be partners to us. There is no reason why digital needs to just be the remit of schools. We need to work in partnerships with some of the programs that libraries are doing across the country that we could do, and I think we could use that. And tech to bridge the gap. Well, as I said earlier, the London Grid for Learning is great. The EdTech demonstration is great. They're doing some work on bridging the divide with Chromebooks. Raspberry Pi, they are doing some work for kind of devices they could be used. When we talk about devices, what kind of devices? Does it need to be a full-blown laptop? Could it be a device as a phone? What sorts of ones have we got? Some great stuff from the Good Things Foundation on their work on devices. But I think for me, it's economic sense. So, and I've talked at length about this, the Centre for Economics and Business Research has it down there. It's £15 economic benefit for every £1 invested in digital education. So I think for us, you know, it seems sometimes we forget, we're so caught up in the pedagogy, we forget that actually there's economic benefit to our kids across their lifetime for being digitally competent. So not only protecting our learning and being able to have that digital strategy across your school, but also crucially benefiting their life overall, you know, in ways where they can access the NHS, in ways in which they can access digital services. So I think for me, I think we've got to think big, we've got to think broad, and I loved everybody's comments in this one that were very big and broad. So that's my 2 bits worth, Ty. Is that good for you? Because I think I better round up.
It's very good for me. It's very good for me, and it's very good for Ian. I'm going to hand over to Ian to bring the webinar to a close.